in fiscal 2017 and $8 million in fiscal 2018 to construct full-service animal shelters in Queens and in the Bronx. The plan also includes $3 million in fiscal 2017 to upgrade animal shelters in Brooklyn, Manhattan, and Staten Island, and to invest in various animal welfare projects. What is the status of these projects? Have you identified the sites? When will we get full-service animal shelters? I feel like it's like Groundhog Day again.
I'm afraid on this you will get to say that again, because we are continuing to seek sites in the Bronx and in Queens. We're getting all the support from the people that we should be getting support from. We visited over 40 sites, both city-owned and privately owned sites in Queens and the Bronx, and I'm very hopeful that very soon I'll be able to tell you about these sites, but we do not have anything to share with you today. What I can reiterate, and I appreciate that I reiterated this last year, is that this administration remains committed to 5 full-service animal shelters, 1 in each borough. I can tell you that we're expecting Staten Island to open up soon, late summer, early fall.
Is $10 million sufficient to complete these projects?
We are confident that we will get all the funding that is needed for these projects.
But $10 million is not sufficient?
I doubt it.
So why didn't the administration include more funding in the 10-year capital strategy?
The $10 million was for site acquisition, not for design and construction.
But I don't think...
Site acquisition and design, I'm corrected.
But I don't think $10 million is even enough for site acquisition.
Well, we may be lucky and find city-owned property, which helps.
So when will we get an update on this?
As soon as I can tell you. You know, I really want to be able to give you an update on this.
So in December...
He's forgotten that, sorry. I'm being told that the council recommended that we put $10 million in the budget for site acquisition, and I don't want to go through. We're committed to 5 full-service shelters, 1 in each borough, and we have been working hard on identifying sites. Okay. As you know, this is the process. I
understand. I just want to be clear, because I don't want things to get twisted in any way. We had a hearing on this, and we recommended that the administration come up with all of the money for 2 shelters.
That's my recollection as well.
Yes. And then as part of our official response in our budget response documents, which we have to give every year, the council includes all sorts of numbers. And last year, the number we put in was $10 million because there were 100 other competing priorities. But the position that I've had, and that I think the speaker has had for 3 years, has been whatever the amount is. So I don't want anyone to hang their hat on the fact that $10 million showed up in one budget response document.
And I agree with you. This isn't worth talking about.
Okay.
We are committed to identifying a site, acquiring a site, designing the shelters, building the shelters, and opening the shelters so that every borough in this city will have a full-service shelter.
So in December, the department reported that a rare strain of bird flu had infected dozens, if not hundreds, of cats at the Manhattan Animal Shelter on East 110th Street. So you've been to that shelter, right? Have you been to that shelter?
I have not in recent years.
Okay. So I haven't been to Brooklyn.
But we don't think that had anything to do with shelter conditions. This
well,
was a novel
walk through that shelter.
This was a novel virus in cats. I'm actually very proud of the veterinary staff and animal care and control, that it was rapidly identified, that they brought in external expertise, that they worked collaboratively with the ASPCA and others to move the cats into quarantine.
The Times did a great piece on showing the clinic they set up, and they did a remarkable job. The reason why I bring it up, even if it was novel for whatever reason, the shelter conditions at the existing shelters are really bad. You walk through, they're really bad conditions. I adopted my cat from that shelter. I mean, they're not good sites, And one of the issues that ACNC brings up is the fact that they don't have quarantine areas that are big enough when animals get sick. So then virus is spread throughout the shelter, and it's harder to contain it just because the physical plant and layout of the shelter doesn't lend itself to being able to take care of these issues in the way they need to, given the shelter population size. I say all of that because there are a few things that I think would work. One is getting the renovations done at the existing shelter on the garage next door to build an adoption center for healthy animals and having more space for quarantine in the existing shelter. Number two, which I think is really, really important, is the fact that the city's contract with ACNC, it's a 5-year contract, $51.9 million contract with your department. The contract which requires ACNC, as you said, to rescue all homeless and abandoned animals, regardless of their physical condition, and to provide shelter and care to seized animals. It's not enough money. They need more. They've been doing all sorts of amazing programs on surrender prevention programs, socialization programs to get the animals more easily adopted. They're doing really cutting edge, fantastic, great stuff. I am really proud of the work that they're doing. I think they've made a huge turnaround in getting the no-kill number up. They need more money. They don't need tons more money, but they need more money. And so throughout this budget cycle, I'm going to push for your department to get money from OMB to increase their amount a little bit to get them the stuff they need so they can continue to be successful.
Well, I'm really happy to hear you speak this way about ICNC. We're very proud of the work that they've done. We're proud of the work that they did in identifying and responding to the cat flu outbreak, and proud of the work that they're doing generally. They're doing a great job. I absolutely agree with that assessment.
And I do not blame the deer. I don't blame the deer death on ACNC.
Oh, good. Yes, I mean, this was the one
we
on
could talk about
155th
deer and
Street.
turkeys and pigs on Staten Island and.
Yes, there's not really much to update you. All of those.
Okay. So
send them along, and we'll do our best to.
Maybe that's how we should end things today.
With Wilbur?
Well, I think pigs should be legal in New York City. You don't.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm happy to discuss it as ever.
It's not the most important issue. So we have a bunch of questions on Take Care New York 2020, the World Trade Center Health Program, Public Health Local Assistance, the Centers for Health Equity, which you talked about, chronic diseases, cure violence,